Good afternoon. My name is Antony Larose, and I work in the UK licensing team at FileMaker. And welcome to my webinar where I'll be taking a paper form and showing you how to replicate that and use it on an iPad. So first of all, just want to check that everyone can hear me. On your control panel, there is a questions tab. So in there, if you could just let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, that would be great. Any questions you have during this webinar, if you could just put them in here, and I will try and answer them at the end. So I'll just pause for a minute and just wait for everyone to. There's a few extra people coming online now. Great. Everyone can hear me, which is always good when you do these webinars. So I'll just wait for a couple more seconds because I can see there's a couple of others just coming in right now. So I'll start in about sort of 30 seconds. Here we go. I think they're all in. I will start now. So the demo today is based upon this paper form I've got on my desktop, and this was given to us by a prospective customer. They came to us and said, well, we're interested in using FileMaker out in the field. They're a automotive part manufacturer, and they use this form to go out see customers that are having an issue with one of their parts. And literally the engineer would take this form and start filling in these details: week, data, customer name, part number, some issue details in there, and some more information on whether they're going to replace it free of charge, that type of thing. So it's this form is in the hands. They're having to print it, send it out to their engineers, and the issue that was coming up, they were getting these papers were getting lost. The data was not readable. They were getting to a stage of having hundreds of these a week, that they just couldn't manage the process of actually saying, well, where are we with these projects? Where are we with this certain one? They had a file with lots of pieces of paper in. So rather than pushing paper around, they're looking to use FileMaker. So what I'm going to show you today is how to bring it into FileMaker, and also why you should be doing it as well. So let's see what you do. So we click on FileMaker here, which you can download free as a trial 30 days. You go new database. I'm going to call it paper to iPad. I'm going to save it on my desktop. So we're first of all going to just create a new layout here. We can just click create a layout or report, and this is where we can say, actually, I want to do it on a touch device, and it can be an iPad or iPad mini. We're going to call it the layout. We're going to call it iPad. The benefit of actually doing it on an iPad layout is that it's actually quite good for a desktop size anyway. So it replicates through. So you can also enable this so that the buttons that you're using are not too big, not too small. So in this, we have themes here, which you can pick, and these are sort of color, fonts, background colors, button colors, that type of thing. I always a Vibrant Touch is one that I always use in my demo. If you're not using iPads, you can just use one of these ones up here, which are just regular desktop versions. But in this case, we want to do both. I want to access it on an iPad, but I'm also going to show you how to access it through a browser and also via the desktop. So we're going to Vibrant Touch. We're going to OK that. So you see what I mean? It just takes the background out to a different color. So we need to start replicating this form. So if we want to put text on our layout, we can just click on the text button, click where you want to put it, and we just say customer claim form. So once that's on there, we can move that around and just put it in the middle. If we want to create fields, we go to our field picker here. If this isn't already up, you can just click on it here, field picker, and it brings it back up. And this is where we just create the fields. So in this case, we've got a date field. And this is where you can pick the type of field. So if it is a date field, pick the field that you're going to use is a date as well. That way you can then go in the background and pick the calendar to drop down. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So we're going to go week number. I'm just going to start going through some of these received by. So I'll be showing you how to create a lot of fields today. Account name, contact, and you get the gist of how we're doing this now. These are all in date, but I'll show you in a minute how we can change them to something else. Contact dates, then we got phone and email, part number, serial number, we got RMA, and do we do account? So I think I've done all of them there. Don't want that one, so I want to delete that one. Delete field. So we then can go into each of these fields and actually say what type of field are they. So this is going to be a number, this is going to be a text, again, account name, text field, be a text again, phone number, be a number field, email, be text, part number, text, get the gist of it, there we go. So what I can do now is start dragging these fields over to my layout. Let's have a look on this. So if we got the fields here, we can just say grab hold of all of them, and you can see down the bottom you can actually say do you want the field name to come across on the left, do you want it on the top, or do you want it to have no field name, or you can just bring them across sort of horizontally or vertically. So we can just drag those across onto our layout. Once they're on there, you can then start moving them around. So if we hold on to our, so you sort of see what we're just holding down the mouse, drag and drop over them, and you can literally use your cursor to move them across to a certain point. And if you want the other ones, we can then bring those over in the same scenario and drop those onto our layout like so. Let's move these over a little bit more. There we go, just a bit more space for these ones to drop onto our layout. There we go. So once we've got these fields on there, we can then start changing the way. Let's move that one up to the top. I just noticed that I don't need this one. It's just called fields, so you can click on both of them and then just press delete. So in this case, we know this is a date field. So if you click in the field, we have the inspector tool here. And this is where you can actually determine how you enter the data into that field. So we can say, well, actually, we want a drop-down calendar, and we want to include an icon there, which makes it really easy for people to put in. So in this case, on the paper form, they're writing the number in. They might write the 1st of March and not put a year, and then someone else might just do it in numbers. Or so if you do it this way, then it makes sure that the data that's being put in is correct every time in the formatting, so it's easy to search on. And that's what you're going to need, because once you've got hundreds of these a week, and then you've got sort of thousands over a year, you need something to manage that process. So in this case, we've got week number. Something different I want to show you how to manage that data. So we can go to, we're going to do a drop-down list. And this is where we can create a new list. And what we're going to do is going to call it week number. And this is where we can just type them in. So if you have a list that you know that just a few numbers, that type of thing, so you go all the way up to 52. There is a way of doing a calculation in the back of this to actually do it all for you, but I think when we're doing this as a beginning stage, it's show it this way rather than doing all the calculations and scripts in the background. The calculation could be just taken from the actual a date field. So once we've got it there, we can then click on that field and we say, well, actually, we got the week number and edit that. So if I was to exit my layout now, and we're going to put a new record in. So in FileMaker, you've got along the top some icons. You give us new record. You can then start saying, okay, we've got a date here, and then we've got our drop-down list. And you can see why that's going to be a lot quicker to do that. And once I've built the solution, I'll show you how that works on the iPad. So we're going to exit that. So we're building that. So received by. Again, we can create another a list to manage the data we're putting into that. So we just make sure the field's highlighted. You can see it here, paper to iPad, which is the file received by. This is where we're going to do another drop-down list. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to call it staff. And this is where we can just say, start typing names in. Etc. So and now this can be used a number of times, and I'll show you why that's really key later on. So now we've got this R received by. Actually, I'm going to include an arrow to show or hide the list. So it shows there's a list there. Again, I'll go back to this one, and I'm going to do the same for that. Put the list on there. So if I exit that layout now, you can see that that's really useful. So someone might put Ant, on this form, and this just makes sure that you can then do easy searches and say, well, how many engineers, well, how many reports has Antony done? Find search. If you've got a paper form, you're never going to be able to do it. So with some of the other fields here, we've got these are all going to be normal text fields, so that's something that they're always going to have to type into. So we've got issue details we need to find now. So what we're going to do is go into layout mode again, and then we're going to do a new field. We're going to call it issue details. It's going to be a text field. We want it to come along with the field to the top. So what we're going to do is drag that over now, over to our layout, like so. And now I'm just going to, once you've got that field on, I want to make it bigger, you just grab hold of the corner, bottom right, and just drag it over that area. So if you include a vertical scroll bar on there, it just allows that if they go along more than 4 lines, you can drag down and see it very easily. So that's that. We've got lots of other information to store on here, and as you see, our layout's getting quite packed already. So there's a tool that you can use which gives you more real estate, which is called tab control. I'll show you why this is really good. So you click on the tab control on the top, and you can do a rectangular area, and you can put lots of tabs here and with lots of data behind each one. So in this case, we're going to do sort of order details. And you create, and this is how you can just create more tabs. I'm going to show you something that this customer's not doing yet, but are interested in doing, is that they're out there doing a survey on this part that's got faulty. They've got issue details. If they've got an iPad there, then why not use the camera? So we're going to do some photos to take pictures of the camera using the camera on the iPhone. Could be iPhone or iPad or our iPod Touch. So you've got photos, and then there's RMA data. There's going to be quality concern. And then I think the last one down here, so you've got quality concern, is a further action. I'll see how we get on. I may not be able to get through all of creating this whole form today, but I'll try and get through as much as I can. Here we go. So now, once we OK that, it puts all our tabs on here. So it's great because you've got this real estate that you can then use a number of times, and you can actually also have, so if you had all details, and you can have another row of tabs underneath once you click on this tab to go into other tabs. So you're always on the one layout. So with all the details, we're going to go back to our field picker, and we're going to start creating some new fields again. So this time we're going to do original order number. That's a text field. And then we're going to do replacement required. Replacement, was it parts? Oh no, replacement free of charge. I'm going to do another one, and we're going to do replacement sent. And then we're going to do sent by. I'm going to do order number. And we're going to do free of charge. Oh, and sign. I think that's all of them. So what we can then do is start dragging these over to our layout over here. So original order number, and we're going to go to those and bring those across. I'm going to do actually, because it might be too many, so I'm going to bring over these 4 to start with. Put those there. You see, I brought it across with the field to the field name to the top. Maybe I didn't want that, so you can just go edit, undo, and then I can come back to this and click on I want it to the left of the field itself, and then I can move that over, and then I've got some others. 3, was it sent by order number, and drag that across to that layout as well. You see, once there's some dynamic guidelines here that allow you to match it up to the fields you've already dropped. You see the distance is correct, and then once you've moved it over and they all line up, you can drop them on. Free of charge signature, I'm going to do that in a different, I want to put that there, make it a little bit smaller. There we go. In fact, I'm actually going to put it along the bottom. I can probably fit it in there, can't I? I'm going to do something, edit, undo that and delete that one. Let's bring that across again. So again, if you have any sort of tinkering that you think, oh, I don't like that, you can either do undo. In this case, we're going to drag and drop it and just put it at the bottom. There we go. With the free of charge signature, I'm going to actually do something different on this one. So make that a little bit bigger. So we can go back to these fields and start changing the way they work. So in regards to original number replacement sent. So in this case, I'm going to show you how to do a radio button. And we're going to do a list, a new list, and all we're going to call it is yes, no. Because all we want is the answer yes, no, and for them to tick a button really. So we could do it yes, no, and okay that. So once we've created our yes, no, you can see that how that works. If there's lots of yes, no answers that you need, then I would always suggest to do a radio button. So and then you can replicate that through the same. So free of charge. Again, we do a radio button, and once you've done those lists, they're really easy because you can just click on them, yes, no, and it happens straight away. So if you know replacement sent by, well, great, we can use our list again, which is a drop down list, and we're going to go to our list, which is staff. Include an arrow to show that there's something there. We're also going to allow editing of the value list. So if someone's actually my staff person that's sending the replacement by would oh, I've done I need to swap these fields around, haven't I? So we get I've done it. Replacement sent by should be the one underneath. The joys of doing a live demo, but you'll get the gist. I'll swap these around. So sent by we'll want the drop down list in that one. Staff, include an arrow and allow editing, so that works. And we're going to go back to place sent by, and if it's wrong, not a problem, we can go back and say actually it is a drop down list, but this time I want to use yes no instead. and it's going to be a radio button. So it's easy, even if you do sort of look at a field and say, well, actually, that's wrong. Oh, I've got to start again. No, you just go in and change the file. I didn't mean to do that on purpose, just to show you that I did it wrong. So that's that. So and then with the signature field here, we can change that to manage it. We actually want this field to be a container. So we're going to go free of charge sign, and we're going to change that to a container field. So if you're looking to sort of have files, in this case sort of PDFs, pictures, sound files, Word documents, anything like that, then they need to be container fields. So if you change it here, once you're in that field content, you see iPad free of charge sign, we can then right click in it, and then literally you can do a button setup. So literally, if you're on the iPad, you press it like a button. You can then I'll do a small script on this just to show you it's really easy to do. So you go to field and you go insert from device. You're going to say that you're going to specify the target field, which is free of charge sign. You're going to OK that. And you're going to say, well, actually, I want to insert directly from the camera. So you could say from a music library, from the video, from the microphone, from the barcode or signature. Well, this is a free of charge sign, so I'm going to use the signature and OK that. So now I'll show you later on when we deploy this to the iPad. As soon as I click in that will come up straight into the signature mode. So if we were looking to manage photos, we need to create the photo fields. So we go back in, we're going to call it picture 1. This is where we do container again. Again, picture 2. And I'm just going to do 3 maybe. Picture 3. So now I'll show you another tool to use. On our tab control, we also have a slide control. And I'll show you why this is really useful. So you can put the slide control over the tab for our pictures. We want 3, great. And now we can start bringing across our fields. And we don't want any field names because we've got the tab telling us it's the photos. So we can now start bringing that over one at a time, not all of them. And then we can sort of drop them onto our layout and make them maybe just a little bit bigger. And then you just click on the little button at the bottom there to bring your second picture across and drag that out, and the third picture on there, drop that on. There we go. So now we've got our 3 pictures. So if I exit my layout, so that's saving that layout, and you can see now within 22 minutes of starting this demo, we now have a solution that's going to manage sort of 60 to 70% of what we got on here. If I had a bit more time, I'd be able to go through all of this, but I think you've got the gist of it, of how to create the fields and how do you bring them across and how you manage the data to put into the fields. So what I'll show you now is how you can then now share this, which is the most important part of using FileMaker. So if we go to File, Manage, Security. So I just need to open up the security on that file first. So we go to extended privileges and we open it up, access via web direct. So I'm going to edit that, and this is so I can send this to you now so you can gain access to this file through your web browser. And we also then want to do it through the desktop. So we're going to share it with pro users, so Macs PCs, and also we've enabled it to be shared also to iPads. So I'm saving that. It's basically saying that there's no security on there. You're okay with that, which I am. So now I need to upload that to our server. So I'm not going to show you how to install the server today, but but I will show you how to upload it. So you click here and say upload to server. It will ask you to close it down first, which is fine. We're going to find our host, and I'm just going to type in the password. This is a long one, so bear with me. There we go next. So that's uploading that file now to our server. If you are looking to use sort of iPads, iOS devices, and also access FileMaker through a browser, you will need to use the server and then have connections to that. So that's now hosting my file. So I'm going to I've got my iPad simulation tool here, and on here is the app at the bottom on the dock, FileMaker Go, which is a free app on the App Store. So go and download that. It's licensed through the server, so depending on how many people you want to access it simultaneously, then you buy connections to the server. So you literally click on that, and here's my server. So with setting up the server on your iPad and your desktops. If you need any help on that, we can put you through to our support team, and they could go through that with a trial, because you can actually do what I'm doing today using the trial. And there's our file, paper to iPad, and there we go. So there's that file that we've created from our paper form, and now I have it on an iPad. If you don't have an iPad, but everyone has a browser, you can access it on there as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we go to it'd be a URL for the server, and then there's our file. And because I haven't put any passwords on it, you can I'll go straight in. Let's make this a little bit smaller. I'll move that there to there, and so I'm just going to send this over to you. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, that's hosted, I can get into that file. Yes, you can. So I'm going to just send that over on the chat window right now. So click on that, and you'll be in the file. So go in there, start creating some records. So now I'm going to show you why you should be using FileMaker. So in this case, we're adding records. So in this, if I add a new record on the iPad, say, so here I am over here. So we go bottom right now to make sure you can see it there. That's it. And you can add new record, and then we can start adding our data in, and you can see why this would be useful. So you're literally clicking through the date. You've got your scrolling through there. You can say who's it received by, and you've got some data, and you say part not working, and then you can say, well, actually, you can say replacement, and you can see why this would be really, really quick, in that someone, rather than standing there writing it all, would say, and say, well, actually, I'm the manager, and I can say, well, actually, I'm going to sign that straight off right now. I'm happy to say that's so what I can then do on these multiple devices is say, actually, I'm going to do a find, and say, well, actually, I want to quickly see that report that Martin's done, and return, and you can see that straight into that file. As soon as I click out of here, you can see that updates across. And if I was to do the same on the browser, so I do find, and say, actually, we'll have a look at Martin's reports, perform find, and you can see there. So I've got someone in the field filling in the form on an iPad, and I've got everyone, because I have someone in the office accessing the file, saying, "Oh, thanks, Martin. I can see that now. Brilliant. I'll send the part out, put the parts out in the post." And in here, you can see it could be anyone with a browser going into doing the same. If in this case on the iPad again, we've got, say, photos. As soon as you click into the field, you can then set this field up to allow it to detect the actual camera. So if we go into our layout again, edit layout, and we go to our photo, we're going to right click in there, and we're going to go specify field. So right click that, and button setup, and we're going to go through the same fields, insert from device, and this is where we would pick the field, and we're going to do picture 1, Okay, that, and we're going to go straight into the camera. So now, if I exit that layout, you can see, if I go to my iPad over here, I've got photos. As soon as I click in that field, it goes straight into my camera and takes a picture of me doing the demo. And then once I use that, you see that down at the bottom right hand corner, use that's straight into that record. And then as soon as I click out, that will take a couple of seconds just to upload onto everybody's desktops back in the office. So that's really showing you the power of, that you've got someone out there with why would you be using paper? It's so prehistoric now. You want to be able to see your data, you want to be able to share your data, and you want to have multiple people in there at the same time, which is going to save you time in the long run. So just in case you're worried that you're going to go away from having the coffee stain on there, you can actually add it to your solution. So if you edit the layout, and I've got a coffee stain here, just in case you're missing it, and you can sort of drop it somewhere. Let's go back on the order details, and I'm going to drop it on this layout here, make it a little bit smaller, and then drop it on there like that, and exit that. You can see, look, I'm deployed it, and let's close this form down. Now I have my coffee stain on my solution. Well, it looks quite. I thought it looked quite nice. So that's sort of the end of the demo today. Has anyone managed to get into the solution? Let me know. So hopefully that's shown you well, an easy way to get your paper forms onto FileMaker, and then onto the iPad, but also onto multiple desktops, browsers. So just anyone with a device can get into this solution and start sharing it. So